Hey Rob, in this video I'm going to go over some exercises I use in my warm-up routine. I like to start with playing with just one finger across all 6 strings on a single fret. Now I don't always like working in first position. I like to kind of work up the neck a little bit when I'm warming up so I don't have to stretch as far. I like 5th position, 7th position, or maybe even the 9th position sometimes. But let's start with the 5th position. I'm going to start with my 4th finger. So I'm just going to walk it across all 6 strings across the 8th fret. I'm going to do my 3rd finger. You get the idea. 2nd finger and 1st finger. Now sometimes I change how fast I go, but I always try to be comfortable and relaxed, and I'm looking for a good sound. If we're rushing, there's no point in rehearsing that or practicing that. We're just going to learn bad habits. So we want to just feel relaxed and comfortable and have a good, relaxed, comfortable sound throughout the whole exercise. Once you start to get comfortable with one finger, you can use 2 fingers. So I'll use fingers 3 and 4. And I'll just walk them across the strings. I know there's all sorts of finger combinations you can use. 1 and 2, 2 and 3. We just did 3 and 4. Then we have 2 and 4, 1 and 3, and 1 and 4. Now when you're comfortable with this, we can start to do hammer-ons and pull-offs. Starting with hammer-ons, I'm going to play my 3rd finger and hammer-on with my 4th. And when you're comfortable with that, we can use the other fingers, etc. And then we can do some pull-offs. Now the technique for a pull-off that I do when I'm practicing, I like to direct the pressure or the energy of my 4th finger, the one that's doing the pull-off, into the fretboard and down. So I actually snap the string and I'm actually pulling off into the next string. Now we don't actually play this way, we're just practicing this way. But it's a good way to rehearse the feeling of a solid pull-off. And you don't even need to use your right hand while you work on it. So I'm literally plucking the string with my 4th finger, and my 3rd finger stays put because that's the note that I want to sound. So when I play, I have a nice pull-off. And of course we do this with all finger combinations. And then once you're comfortable with that, we can do a combination of hammer-ons and pull-offs. That's a hammer-on and a pull-off. And that's a pull-off and a hammer-on. Now another exercise I like to do is playing with 2 fingers on 2 strings. For example, using fingers 3 and 4 on strings 3 and 4. I'm going to play with my 3rd finger on the 4th string, 7th fret, and my 4th finger on the 3rd string on the 8th fret. And then I'm going to switch them. And I'm going to go back and forth. And I'm using 2 fingers to pluck the strings. You can use your thumb and your index finger, thumb and your middle finger, these 2, your 1st finger and your 2nd finger, whatever you're comfortable with, but try to switch it up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to space this out a little bit, and I'm going to move my pinky finger to the 2nd string and keep my 3rd finger starting on the 4th string. And then I'm going to switch them. So now I'm hopping over that 3rd string. And, And we can keep doing this, moving to the 5th string and the 2nd string. Whoops. And we can keep going to the 5th string and the 1st string, and then the 6th string and the 1st string. And then we can start to go back in. Lost my spot. There we go. And we can do this with all finger combinations. We can kind of run through each finger combination, and then we can space it out. Now, of course, sometimes I speed things up because I'm used to it, but again, all I'm thinking about is remaining relaxed and comfortable while I do these exercises. They're a warm-up, they're not a test. Now, of course, these are just guidelines. You know, I encourage all my students to be creative and come up with exercises of their own that work for them. For example, we didn't really cover 3-note patterns on a string, doing hammer-ons, but those are very useful, and even stretching them out a little bit. Those types of patterns become more useful when we start to play different types of scales. But when we're warming up, we just like to keep things light and loose. And you can just kind of pick a combination that you like that day and work on it for 5 or 10 minutes or so and then move on. Now, it would be nice if we had time to do all of these exercises every day, but time gets tight. So focus on 1 or 2 things that maybe you're working on or you're struggling with. I like to work on my weaknesses so that everything's kind of on the same page when I go to play. I hope these helped, and we'll see you soon.